Ladies, if you wear wigs, weaves, braids, or extensions,
and if you're tender-headed like me,
or tangled just like me,
or have thick hair like mine,
or hate getting your hair combed,
keep watching! Okay guys, I did a video giving you detangling tips on how to detangle your hair. Now what I'm about to do, we might have a lot of panning in and out because I want to bring you guys very up close and personal into her hair the way I see it. I want you guys to see it the way I see it as much as I can. Now, as you can see, her hair hasn't been detangled for probably about a month and a half. Don't judge me, that's a whole nother video. Her hair hasn't been detangled for about a month and a half. So she has very thick hair. As you can see, her hair is very thick. Now, as you can see, let me open her hair up where I'm going to start. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate a section. Wherever her hair separates, I'm going to separate that section. I'm not going to pull it, tug it, none of that. Wherever her hair just separates, so as you can see, this isn't straight, that's not a problem. I'm just going to separate that section. Clip the rest of her hair out of the way. Now, I'm going to zoom you guys in as much as I can to see her hair. That's as far as I can zoom you guys in. Her hair is tangling and matting in the roots. So I want you guys to see, because I'm going to show you how to detangle. See how her hair is tangled and matted here? I'm going to show you how to detangle here. Very thick, matted hair on tender-headed people. So, as you can see, I have a section. This is a nice size section. Mistake number one, you do not want to start detangling this section of hair when you have very thick, kinky, coily hair. You don't want to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is break this section in half. Wherever her hair naturally breaks, you don't want to pull it in and snap her hair. Wherever her hair naturally breaks, that's where I'm going to let it break. I'm going to clip this out of the way. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply water to her hair. You see how stiff her hair is? I'm not going to saturate it. I'm just going to apply water. Let me zoom y'all back out. Okay. So, I've applied the water to her hair. Now, I'm working the water into her hair. You can see where her hair is receiving the water because her hair is starting to coil back up. You can see where her hair, the water is starting to penetrate her hair. So this is going to be a very detailed video, and I don't know how long it's going to be, you guys, but I want it to be very detailed. I want you guys to really see how the detangler works. So I'm just working the water in with my hands, and I'm going downward, following the cuticle, keeping the cuticle close on the hair. I'm just working my way down. Now, some shed hairs might immediately start to come out like that, and that's fine. Now, as I work the water in, I can see where her hair is now softening up, right? It's accepting the water, where you can see where her hair starts to coil back up. It's accepting the water. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using TM Hair Products Smooth Through Detangler to detangle her hair. This is what separates the good from the great. This is the great. So what I'm going to do now is, because my daughter, as you can see, she suffers from more matting, knotting, tangling in the root. That's why I'm going to apply the detangler. First thing you notice, this detangler is not running all over the place. It's very thick, so that means it's going to coat your hair beautifully. Now, with the pads of my fingers, I'm working the detangler into her hair. I'm working the detangler into her hair. Now, as you can see, the detangler is penetrating her hair. You can see where it's absorbing into her hair. That's what you want it to do. You want it to absorb into the hair. I'm going to apply some more because, again, her hair is very thick. I want this to penetrate throughout this entire section of hair. Now I'm going to work it down. Now the detangler is penetrating her hair very well. You see how it's absorbing into her hair. Now, you see how her coils and curls are starting to pop. The detangler is penetrating the hair. Now, I'm going to tell you what this detangler is doing. While it's breaking down the knots and tangles, so because when I work this in, it's breaking down the knots and tangles. Not only is it breaking down the knots and tangles, but it's helping to moisturize the hair and give the hair moisture. So I'm going to add a little more to the ends of her hair because if you suffer from single strand knots, fairy knots, things like that, you want to be able to work those out without a problem. Now, as I've worked the detangler into her hair, as you can see her curl pattern popping, you can see all of that. Now, what you want to do is, I stated in the video, the tips on detangling video, and I'll link that video in the description. What you want to do is you want to have a wide tooth comb, and then you want to have a finer tooth comb. I've already detangled one side of her hair. That's why you see the detangler on there. But you also want to have a comb with a point to it in case you run into single strand knots and things like that. So now that I've worked the detangler into her hair, I know the detangler is penetrating because her curl pattern and her texture is back. Now, if you've used this detangler before, her hair is very soft, and you know that the hair is very soft. So what I'm going to do now, because as I'm running my fingers through her hair, it is knotting and matting and tangling more at the root, but I'm also feeling for single strand knots and things like that. I don't feel very many single strand knots, so I'm going to start with my wide tooth comb. And I start from the very ends of her hair. Combing around each section. Now this is very slowed down, you guys, because I'm really trying to explain what I'm doing. So as I'm chopping through the hair like so, that is bringing down the loose and shed hairs that causes your hair to tangle. That is going to slide out into the comb. So as you can see, the comb is gliding through her hair. Now we're working our way up to the root. Now as you can see, because I worked the detangler into her hair, focusing on the root, now I'm able to gently comb through the root and not have a lot of snags and tangles. Doing that step, working the detangler in with your hands, because this detangler is going to start immediately break down the knots and tangles. When you work the detangler in with your hands, it helps it to accelerate this process. So now what I'm going to do, because I was able to comb from the root to here, I'm going to now work these little single pieces of hair out that your hair naturally sheds. And as you can see, they're easily gliding out of the comb. So what I like to do is, once I go over the hair with a wide tooth comb, I like to then go over with a finer tooth comb. Now, my thick hair ladies, do not be afraid of this step, because this detangler, as you can see, coats the hair very well. So you will not be just ripping out strands of hair. It coats the hair very well. Now, the detangler is penetrating her hair. This detangler is also a co-wash and a deep conditioner. So it's penetrating her hair. So what I can do is I can just add a little more water. Just lightly mist her hair with water. Work it in again. Her hair is so soft. Her hair is butter soft, you guys. It's amazing. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go through her hair with a finer tooth comb to make sure I don't have any single strand knots, anything like that I may have missed with my wider tooth comb. Now, ladies, as you can see, her hair is very thick. She has not lost a lot of hair. Even using the finer tooth comb, she hasn't lost a lot of hair. Now, if you are a young lady who likes to wear wash and goes and things like that, look how her curls are popping. You would use the detangler to enhance your curls, and then you would use the styling aid to seal your curls in. Now, what I like to do at this point, this section is completely detangled. I'm going to clip it out of the way, clip it underneath her hair, and go on to another section. Now this section is going to be a little faster because I've shown you guys the steps in the first section. So I'm going to move a little faster with this section. Misting her hair with water. Now you see how the water is sitting on top of her hair? Let me bring y'all in a little closer. You see how the water is sitting on top of her hair? That's not what we want. We want to work the water in. Now, if your hair is low porosity, like her hair is, it takes a little longer for the water to penetrate the hair. That's why when you work the water into the hair, it kind of helps to accelerate this step. Now, as you can see, her coils are starting to form. The water's penetrating her hair. So we're just working the water in. Now, this will be very fast and a lot faster if I wasn't explaining to you guys. Working the water into her hair. Now, again, you can see where her hair is thick and matted at the root. That's where I'm going to focus. Now, if your hair is not this thick, then you wouldn't use this amount of detangler. But if your hair is very thick, you have to use enough to penetrate your hair. Now, I'm working it in. I can feel the knots and tangles now breaking down. I can feel it breaking down. See how it's easy to separate her hair and pull it apart? That's because the detangler is now breaking down the knots. Always start from the ends of the hair, working your way up to the root. Now I'm going to pan you guys back out a little bit. Now I'm going to apply the detangler to the rest of her hair. Not very much, depending on the thickness of your hair. Working it in. As you can see, her hair is just springing back. Now, you have to be careful because this part isn't clean. So you have to be careful that you don't pull hair from the top. That can hurt people who are tender-headed. So I'm going to add a little more water because the detangler is pretty concentrated. I'm going to add a little more water to the hair. Working it in. Her hair is so soft, you guys. Starting from the ends. Working my way up to the root. Now, because we are detangling, we might run into some knots or some tangles, and that's okay. That's why we're using the detangler, and we have our comb with the missing teeth so that if we run into any knots that needs to be broken down or worked out, that's what the comb is for. Now, as you can see, as I chop through her hair, these are the shed hairs that are going to come out into the comb. Now, what I'm trying not to do here is take the little wild hairs. And this is very gentle. You do this step very gentle. It should not hurt at all. And all I'm doing is working those shed hairs out of the comb. Now, that's how we know the tangles are breaking down, because it becomes easier to work those shed hairs out into the comb. Working it out, very minimal hair loss. And her hair has been up, like I said, hasn't been detangled for about a month and a half. Very minimal hair loss. Now, everybody's hair loss is different, but normally when you have very, very, very thick hair like hers, you have a lot more hair loss. But with these detangling tips and steps and using the Smooth Through Detangler, it makes it easy so you don't pull out unnecessary hair. When you're doing your child's hair or a client's hair, they shouldn't be in any discomfort at all. Now, as you see, I worked through that section, so I took the bottom section that I previously detangled and the top section together, and I'm combing through that entire section with a finer tooth comb, just in case I missed something, a knot or a tangle, with the wire tooth comb. Get all in the kitchen. Now, what I like to do is I like to clean up the part. So from here, I will part this section. Put it up here. Comb through one more time, because you want to make sure your hair is completely detangled. And I like to twist the section. Why? Because as you can see, her hair is very coily, and her hair will coil right back up on itself. Okay guys, I'm sorry. As you can see, my phone was ringing. So this is the section of hair that we have just detangled. As you can see, her ends are nice and coiled. So now I'm going to take another section. Just wherever her hair separate. Look, let me pan y'all back out. I'm sorry. So I don't want to break her hair, so I just separated wherever her hair separates. So I'm going to take another section. I have this section, so I'm going to take another section of hair. Now her hair is very dense and matted right here in the back, right here in the middle where you lay and sleep. That's where a lot of her tangles are. So I'm sorry you guys, I'm doing this myself. As you can see, you see where her hair is matted and tangled? A lot of people rip that hair out. You see where her hair is matted and tangled? Right here, and the crown is also a stress point for a lot of women, especially women of color. Your hair breaks right here in the center. Your hair falls out right here in the center. If your hair suffers from that, and in the crown, if your hair suffers from that, try this detangler when you're detangling your hair. This is great for kids. It's natural and organic, so it's great for kids. It's great for adults. It's especially made for people with thick hair like this, especially made for people who are tender-headed. So if you have those problems, give this detangler a try. You will not be disappointed. Okay, now I'm going to just detangle this section, and I'm not going to talk through it. I'm just going to go ahead and detangle this section. Okay guys, I'll be back once her hair is completely detangled. Okay guys, I have completely finished detangling her hair, and what I want you guys to see is this side. I detangled first off camera. Obviously you didn't see that side, how the detangler is being absorbed into her hair. So guess what? Her hair is getting all the vitamins, minerals, nutrition that this detangler has to offer. So once I rinse this detangler out, because it's a co-wash, her hair is going to feel like it's already been deep conditioned. Her hair is going to be very soft. Her curls are going to pop. So that's what I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys how the detangler is now being absorbed into her hair. Her hair is not as white as it is on this side. This is the last side I did. I'll get down a little further. This was the side I did before this side, but I want you guys to compare it to this side. How this side of her hair, it almost absorbed all of the detangler into her hair. Like as you can see, this twist versus this twist. How much of this detangler has been absorbed into her hair. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rinse the detangler out, shampoo her hair, style. The style is going to be in another video, so you guys make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe, so you can see what we end up doing with this hair. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.